As we get older, decluttering is far from just getting rid of stuff. So many of our items hold memories, which also tie into our identity. And the thought of getting rid of our clutter feels like we're snipping away at parts of our life. These items hold emotional weight of the past. Books we've read, souvenirs from our travels, a dress worn to a special event. When we get rid of these items, it's like losing a part of us, our identity at that time. And that can be terrifying. Getting rid of those objects can feel like cutting off a vital part of ourselves, which is too painful for us to face. So those items stay tucked away, taking up space in our homes and in our minds. But holding on to our clutter doesn't stop time from moving forward. It only creates unnecessary burden, both physical and emotional. We have to realize that our identity isn't really tied to our possessions. We're the person who experienced these items, and if they're gone, we're still that person. All of our memories, expertise, decisions are within us, not in those items. Let's unlock 7 hard truths about decluttering after 50, which will help you move forward to simplify your life and give you a real sense of freedom. Some of these facts might surprise you, especially the last one. Hi, I'm Dana from Dana Findwell, and I've faced all of these difficult realities of decluttering 5 years ago at age 55. That's when I downsized so that I could move into this granny flat. I'll also share some of my decluttering strategies throughout this video. The first hard truth is that decluttering can bring up overwhelming memories from the past. This makes it so much harder to declutter. Feelings of joy, sorrow, guilt, or longing can wash over us, making it almost impossible for us to get through the task. Photos, yearbooks, souvenirs from trips, even clothing, they remind us of our past. Am I holding on to this because of what it represents? Now, I'm not talking about minimalism or just getting rid of perfectly wonderful, beloved items for no reason. I'm talking about things we've been hanging on to for years and we just never use. These things don't bring us joy when we look at them, but because they have memories attached to them, we keep putting them aside to deal with it another day. For us over 50, many of us have accumulated massive amounts of these memory holders. So what's important to realize is that we don't need all of this stuff to still have our memories. I've learned to take photos of many of my items I've decluttered over the years that were really difficult to let go of. This is a way to document and catalog these items. I don't use social media very often, but I do use it to record special moments in my life. We could post items along with a caption. That way we have an easy way to look back and share memories with family and friends. A viewer mentioned that she was planning to keep photo albums of all of her items neatly cataloged, which is another great idea. But for me, I do find that letting go of the items instantly frees my mind. I feel lighter. Once I let them go, I actually find that I don't really even need those photos any longer. I like to think that I'm being released from the past and I can be more involved in the present. We don't need the physical objects in order to cherish the memories. However, for items that are just impossible for me to let go of, I'll go ahead and store them in these plastic bins that I have. I allow myself 3 of them. The thing about this is I never look through them and they're just stored away in the garage. And I don't have any practical reason to use these keepsakes, but I know that they're there, and I do find that comforting. The second hard truth is that we often tie our identity to our possessions. This one is tough, and I struggle with this one. I've worn many hats in my life: daughter, mom, grandma, art director, graphic designer, business owner, and content creator. Over the years, I've held on to items that represent each of these roles, almost as if they prove who I am. Letting go of them can feel like I'm erasing parts of myself. But here's what's important to remember. Our identity isn't in the things that we own. It's in the experiences we had, the knowledge we've gained, and the choices we made. Decluttering doesn't take away who we are. It simply makes room for who we're becoming. Number 3, decluttering can be a battle against guilt. One of the hardest parts of decluttering isn't just letting go of the stuff. It's the guilt that comes with it. We might feel like we're betraying a loved one by getting rid of something that they gave us. Or maybe we spent a lot of money on an item, and letting go feels like admitting a mistake. And then there's the emotional weight of clearing out things that once belonged to our parents, kids, or other family members. It's not just our own clutter we're responsible for. We inherit the clutter of our family members. But here's the truth. Keeping something out of guilt doesn't really honor the person or their memory. What truly matters is how we carry on the love, lessons, and values they left us. If something really holds meaning, keep it with intention. Display it, use it, appreciate it. But if it's sitting on a shelf, not bringing you joy, it's okay to let it go. The love and memories aren't in the object, they're in you. Hard truth number 4. Clutter takes up space and weighs on your mind. We don't always realize how much space our stuff takes up, not just in our homes, but in our minds. Piles of papers, overstuffed junk drawers, closets crammed with things that we never use. It's all background noise that adds to our mental load. Think about it. When you walk into a cluttered space, it's harder to relax. Your brain is constantly processing what needs to be organized, what should be dealt with, what you're avoiding. Studies have shown that clutter can increase stress and anxiety, making it harder to focus and even impact sleep quality. By decluttering, you're not just making more space in your home, you're creating space in your mind. You're making room for clarity, creativity, and peace. Number 5, the fear of letting go of something you might need can keep you stuck. What if I regret it? What if I need it someday? These what ifs can paralyze us. We hold on to things just in case, even if we haven't touched them in years. But here's a different perspective. Trust yourself. Trust that if you haven't needed it in the past year or two, you probably won't ever need it. Trust that if you ever do need something similar, you'll find a solution. One thing that helps is setting a just-in-case limit. If you're keeping something purely out of fear, ask yourself, how realistic is it that I'll need this? Could I borrow or replace it if I did? And most importantly, does holding on to it bring me more stress than letting it go? When you release that fear, you open yourself up to a lighter, freer way of living. Number 6, they don't want your stuff. For decades, you hung on to this stuff just to find out that your kids and your grandkids don't want it. Heirlooms, collectibles, furniture, and so on. When our loved ones don't want it, it feels like a personal rejection. We see all of this value and that it's part of our legacy to pass it down. But rather than be hurt and disappointed, we should try to put ourselves in their shoes. They have their own likes and dislikes. Not everyone sees the same value in these items that we do. Clinging to the belief that they should want it leads to disappointment. Perhaps they move a lot, don't have a lot of space, or are just not attached to physical items. Perhaps what's more important to them are things like family recipes, handwritten letters, memories of time spent together. Sit down and talk. Find out what's important to them. It could be illuminating. If they don't want it, then you can release these things into the world where others can love it. This can be amazing. Letting go is freeing. Remember, clutter demands attention. Cleaning takes longer. It can be harder to find things that get lost in the clutter. Having too much stuff also can be dangerous. It holds dust, which is bad for allergies, and it could make moving around our own homes more difficult. Every item holds a decision, which can be overwhelming. By letting go, we create an environment of peace, well-being, and freedom. The seventh hard truth: decluttering is an ongoing process. Decluttering isn't a one and done task, it's a mindset shift. If you don't change the habits that lead to the clutter, it'll creep back in. That's why it's important to be intentional about what you bring into your home. One of the best ways to stay clutter-free is to create small, consistent habits. Maybe before you purchase the item, you leave it in your cart for a week or a month or so, and that way you can see if you really need it. Maybe it's a one in, one out rule, which can work really well with clothing. If you buy a new item, something else has to go. Or maybe it's doing a quick declutter each day or each week. The key is making it a part of your routine so it doesn't become overwhelming. And let's talk about the deeper issue. Why do we accumulate so much in the first place? For many of us, shopping became a form of therapy. We bought things for the dopamine hit, to fill a void, or because we thought they'd make us happier. But in reality, too much stuff weighs us down. Shifting our mindset from overconsumption to appreciating what we already have can be life-changing. Instead of buying more, we can focus on saving, being more intentional, and prioritizing experiences over possessions. I'm doing a low buy year, and I'm completely changing my spending habits. Rather than buying something for a fleeting moment of fun, I'm celebrating the money that I'm saving. Bringing in less new things keeps the clutter down. Repair and take care of the things you own right now. Learn to make do with items that might not be absolutely perfect, but they get the job done. By doing all of this, the necessity of decluttering will go way down. Decluttering isn't about making space. It's about maintaining freedom. At the end of the day, decluttering isn't just about getting rid of things. It's about making room for the life you want to live. It's about letting go of the past so you can fully embrace the present. It's about recognizing that your memories, your identity, and your worth are not tied to your possessions. And most importantly, it's about giving yourself permission to live with less so you can experience more. More clarity, more peace, more freedom. So as you go through this process, be kind to yourself. Take it one step at a time. And remember, every item you let go of is not a loss. It's a step towards a lighter, freer, and more intentional life. If you're looking for some inspiration about decluttering, frugal living, and starting over, check out my playlist. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you find wellness today and every day. See you next time.